Hello and welcome back to the otherwise Saturday, today, Sunday morning live. Thank you for joining in. As I said, we haven't done this in a week, and a lot of things are happening because that's Canadian immigration for you. Very exciting all the time. Something or the other is always rolling up. Starting with the quote of the week that we usually do, the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, and the optimist, which is me, sees opportunity in every difficulty. Well, if we only adopt this principle, this quote in our lives, we can find so many things from a different perspective and probably find them to be more promising than they look otherwise. And something that you can sort of take it with you when you ponder over different situations in your life. Canadian Immigration Weekly Roundup. Stay up to date on the trends and news. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and of course on Twitter as we talk about different things as and when they happen. Today's discussion would include the PNP draws that have happened in the month of February, as in a summary of that, and obviously the PNP draws that have happened during the last week, the express entry, of course, the new plans, if there are any other news, and then we will get on with the question and answers. After the 22nd of February, Alberta basically has changed the name. I'm not sure if I discussed about this earlier, but Alberta has gone ahead and changed their name. They now call themselves, listen to this, Alberta Advantage. I mean, I'm having to read this because there have been so many acronyms now that sometimes you just keep forgetting them. So it's now AAIP, Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. That's what they are now referring themselves to instead of AINP, which was Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program. So AAIP also have introduced two new streams. That's what they are referring to. Yes, they have introduced two new streams, and it's called Rural Renewal Stream, RRS, and Rural Entrepreneur Stream, and this would be RES. So many acronyms, as I'm saying. And with these two streams, again, with the Rural Renewal Stream, you obviously need, with most of these pathways that are coming through, by now you are already aware that they technically and typically need a job offer from the employer in Canada. In this case, it has to be an employer within the rural community in Alberta. And for the rural entrepreneur stream, you will need to acquire a business, existing business, or start a new business, or propose a new business within the rural areas of Alberta. So that's basically your two new streams that Alberta has launched. British Columbia has continued to invite provincial candidates on a weekly basis. In February, the province invited a total of 624 candidates, which is pretty cool. And then Manitoba has also held two draws in the month of February, the first one on the 10th and the second one on the 26th, inviting a total of 551 candidates, of which 134 was sent to the candidates who had a valid express entry profile. So, all the provinces are now making headway into the year and announcing their invitations. In February, Nova Scotia also invited 278 nurses under different knock codes related to nurses. And this was done on the February 8th. And then, so this was the labor market priorities, and the knock code that they invited was 3012. Ontario has been extremely active for the month of February. They invited 3,176 candidates to apply for provincial nominations, which is obviously more than any other province. I mean, it is actually more than the quota for some of the provinces for the whole year. So Ontario has done wonderfully well. I mean, they invited under the tech draw, they invited under the general priorities, the labor market priorities, occupation draws. They invited under the expression of interest. They invited under the master's stream, the PhD stream, the employer job offer stream, the international student stream. They technically or practically they invited under all their streams in the month of February. So very active, Ontario. Prince Edward Islands, the draws are scheduled, or rather pre-scheduled, and held once a month. So they obviously held their draw on the 17th of February and invited 117 candidates. So this was what happened in February. So moving ahead, now we come back to whatever has happened after the 22nd of Feb. That's probably the period of time that I was missing in action. So on the 24th of Feb, Manitoba invited candidates across three PNP streams. which was skilled workers in Manitoba, skilled worker overseas, and international education stream. Under the international education stream, sorry, under the international education stream, there is no scoring requirement. I'm sure most of you who are in Manitoba are already aware. In Ontario, on the 28th of February, they have invited 173 candidates now, and this was for the PhD graduate stream. And then on the next day, on the 1st of March, they have again invited, I don't think we have got that included here, but they have also then conducted a master's draw as well under the master's stream. And they have also conducted the draws for the international student stream as well with a score of 42. So, as I said, Ontario has been very, very active. British Columbia on the 1st of March invited 136 tech workers to apply for the PNP. Candidates who received invitations in this draw were from the skilled worker and the international graduate subcategories, needing a minimum score of 85. So, for people who follow, they are also aware that they are going through, that the score is pretty achievable, pretty cool. ARIMA is a similar system like Express Entry that is used by Quebec. And ARIMA, obviously, Quebec conducted the draws. In the year 2022, Quebec has already issued 1,663 invitations. The last draw, which was conducted in ARIMA, was on the 24th of Feb, when Quebec invited 306 skilled workers to apply. And the candidates were required to have a job offer outside the Montreal metropolitan area. So you see, most of the provinces are moving towards the job offers, which I'm sure most of you will acknowledge is a very difficult one. Anyways, as far as the Express Entry was concerned, and as I said, since we haven't been doing these lives, so therefore we are still talking about the March 2nd draw. 1,047 candidates were invited with the PNP score of 761. This was in the Express Entry pool. New plans? Are there any new plans? Okay, of course. Saskatchewan has issued a new tech immigration program, and what are they calling it? They're calling it the tech pathway or something of the sort. Again, Alberta also has a tech accelerated pathway. Now, Saskatchewan has introduced a new tech immigration pathway program. Ontario always had a tech draw, which they conducted for the program with people who had IT NOC codes. British Columbia has always, for a very long time, has had a BC-PNP tech pilot under which they invite tech-related NOC codes. In the past, Nova Scotia also has shown some interest there. So as you can see, most of the provinces are gearing up to attract more and more candidates who have background in tech. Now, British Columbia needs you to have a job offer. Okay, Alberta needs you to have work experience or job offer in Alberta with a tech employer. Similarly, this new program with Saskatchewan also needs you to have a job offer from an eligible employer in Saskatchewan. You don't need an LMIA, but you need a valid job offer. Valid job offer in this case would be the employer has to apply for an approval to Saskatchewan. So they have to submit their requirement for the employee to Saskatchewan, as in the Saskatchewan Immigration Department, and SINP has to approve the job offer. So once you receive that approved job offer, then you will be able to apply under this program. 11 IT NOC codes have been identified as being eligible for this pathway. So if you have that opportunity to apply, and you can actually apply online through saskjobs.ca, and if you can find an employer who is willing to make you a job offer, the criteria is not very, very difficult at all. You just need to have 1 year of work experience in that specific NOC code within the last 5 years. Your education has to be in line. That is pretty much it, right? I mean, you could have an Express Entry profile, or you could be a non-Express Entry. Both options are fine. Both are acceptable. So if you can find a job offer, it's a bit difficult with Saskatchewan because there's not too much action happening in Saskatchewan in relation to IT. So it's a bit tricky, but it's not like there are no employers there at all, because as you can understand, most provinces are now making this strong effort in trying to get more and more employers to set up base in their provinces, whereby they can attract employees who can then come and work for these employers. and therefore, help in the growth and economy of that particular province. So they're coming from a bit far, but that's the way they're planning to do this. So that was the Saskatchewan. Oh, we do have some other news as well. Let's go with this one. Okay, yes, of course, new border measures. This was implemented as of 28th of February 1201. Canada no longer requires you to get an RT-PCR negative COVID test, but you do need to take an antigen. So you do need to produce a negative antigen report for your COVID results. I mean, for your COVID tests. That is something which you do need to have, and this test just cannot be taken at home. You can just not do a test result at home and print it out and bring it with them. Bring it with you. It has to be done by a laboratory, a healthcare entity, or a telehealth services, and it has to be authorized by the country in which you have purchased your antigen COVID test. Okay, so just be careful with these requirements. You do not want to land up with some situation there with this, and so yeah, there is no requirement for RT-PCR anymore to come to Canada, but you do need an antigen, pre-arrival antigen test. All right. Backlogs. Yes. Of course, we're going to talk about backlogs. I mean, when can we have a weekly roundup and not talk about backlogs? Backlogs is always a very interesting subject, right? A lot of you are still anxiously waiting, because obviously you are anxiously waiting as and how. If you are part of a Facebook group, then obviously you would be seeing tons and tons and tons of PPRs coming through. Even if you're not part of a Facebook groups, you obviously are going to be part of some social media platform somewhere, or you could be keeping an eye on the IMI tracker, which somebody is maintaining, and there are some data there to look at. But overall, you will be seeing that there is a lot of movement. Yes, people have been receiving passport requests, some of them from 2018, 2019. A lot of 2021 is seeing a movement. 2020 is in a bit of a plus and minus. I mean, a lot of people are getting it, but a lot of people are not getting it, and that's where the frustration and the anger is coming through. But a lot of 2021s. So basically, if you submitted your application after the mid 2021, and that's when basically IRCC woke up to the fact that the backlogs need to be taken care of. There's a lot of heat, a lot of pressure, and they needed to maintain, or rather try and come back and maintain their processing timing. So what they're trying to do is that there is one set of officers who's looking at the backlog of applications and processing them, and there is another set of the officers who is handling the newer applications as and how they're coming in, so that they can start maintaining their advertised processing timings for 6 months, or with the PR applications in Express Entry, and with other streams, the different process times. For example, for spousal applications, it's 1 year, and so on and so forth. Excuse me. So while this is happening, obviously there has been no draws, right? So there has been no draws for federal skilled worker or all programs since last year, 2020, December 23rd. And there has not been any draw for Canadian Experience class since 14th, or was it 13th? I keep forgetting these dates now. 13th or 14th of September 2021. So Express Entry is pretty much on hold at this point of time. And Sean Fraser, the immigration minister, has also come out and spoken about it a few times already. So this is all stale news, all bossy news. We're not going to go into that at all. But the backlogs, yes. So there was this website, cicnews.com, who have managed to get the latest ATIP notes, which talks about the numbers in terms of the backlogs. And the current one shows, let's see what it says. Express Entry backlog has declined by nearly 24,000 people since December 2021. So that's a bit of a movement there. And this is as of 28th of February. So, I mean, I as much as I would like to see that these numbers are reducing, or the backlogs are reducing, it's not enough, is it? I mean, these are just for 24,000 people. I was hoping to see at least 50, 60, 70, 80,000 people getting processed. Yeah, but so in 2.5 months, that's what they've done. So basically, they have processed more people from federal skilled worker program in the last 2.5 months that they have done in the entire 2021. So that's a good thing. But I mean, I don't mean to be sarcastic or something, but then I don't yeah, this is. I mean, yeah, we can all feel nice and happy, but this is no good yet, because I was hoping that when Sean Fraser said that they would be clearing 147,000 people uh, for PR applications, then I would have wanted to see more than 24,000 being cleared as of Feb 28th. This is not really a dent in this whole big scheme of things. Now, mind you, when he did say 147,000 people, he did not mean only express entry. He basically meant all streams across for different PR programs. So, could be spousal, could be humanitarian, could be obviously business, self employed, could be caregivers, could be express entry, of course, PNPs, non PNPs, non express entries, all of it. But in spite of everything, because at the end of the day, everybody has been waiting, everybody has been suffering. So we would have liked to see a bit more of a headway into that. But fingers across, at least some movement there. And hopefully they will hold themselves true to the fact that as and how the pool reduces, the numbers of the backlog reduces, that they would come back with the draw. And there is a bit of a flutter and talk about it as well. So let me just sort of talk about this one, right? All right, where did I get this one from? Hold on. Yeah. So as I scroll this on the left, this column is for people, or rather the backlogs as of December 15th. The next one is as of February the 28th. I mean, you can all access this on the website of cicnews.com and you'll be able to see this. Canadian experience class has basically gone down to half. That is the good number. So from 24,675, you only have 12,088 people pending, which, as I said, is a big relief to see more and more people are getting. I mean, half of them, the half of the pool is already cleared. And as I go down further, you have federal self-employed, which I don't think we are looking at this point of time. Federal skilled workers in express entry, 54,529 people as of December, and now 44,437 people as of the as of February the 28th. And for PNPs, 39,325 as of December and 37,484 as of Feb. Now, if I total this number up, which is 45 and 37, which is roughly give or take 92,000 people, and I'm not going to talk about the CEC, obviously. So this 92,000 people would again equate to, because mind you, the PNP applications have been on. I mean, it's not like they were held back, right? The draws continued the whole year of 2021. We were having the draws. Even now we are having the express entry draws only for PNP. So those never really stopped. So you still have about 39,000 people in the profile, in the pool, or rather in the backlog pool for people. Some of them could be actually newer ones, a newer profile which have come in the last 3, 4, 5 months. You can't really tell, because the data sometimes you're going to read it with you can actually go in down deeper and read it. The data from December end and now February, 2.5 months apart. As much as the profiles have been cleared, there are also newer profiles which got added, right? So people kept submitting their applications for people whose PNP draws have been happening. So even if there were a few thousand, it basically means that many few thousand people actually got cleared as well. So these numbers would always not reflect that clearly. But there is a movement, and that's what we are talking about. Let's get back to these numbers for a bit more. And all right, let me scroll this down. So provincial nominee people, this was under express entry. There is also non-express entry. So non-express entry, the numbers have actually gone up by 32, by about 4,000 people, because non-express entry profiles were not really chugging along with the same speed like others, right? And those people have equally been frustrated, where the speed should have been 2 years for processing is now gone up to 3.5 years. So those people have equally been waiting. And then there is the TR to PR. So in December, it was 20,151, and now it is 34,304. Hello. So do you have an answer for me? How did this number go up when when there has? So this is from December. From 15th of December, it was 20,000. Now in February, it is 34,000. Like, do you have an answer from where this number went up by 14,000 when the stream had closed? The numbers that you see as backlogs for TR to PR, this is for those people who have received their AOR, acknowledgement of receipt, so that their file numbers have been created and they are now in the processing pool. Okay. And there are tons and tons of people, there are in thousands, who still haven't received the AOR and who haven't got their file number. So that's the reason they are not even in the pool. Therefore, in my opinion, TR to PR will not happen in this year. And the targets that you have seen is to basically manage these numbers, which will be processed in this year and the next year. But as far as TR to PR is concerned, in my opinion, it's not coming back. Very, very simple reason, because it was a one-time program. And also for the fact that they've pretty much cleared and clearly mentioned that they are not looking to bring TR to PR back. But expectation is that there would be some possibilities of some changes coming in express entry. Now, before I get into that a bit more, express entry backlog, as I said, this is what the number was cleared. All right, so that's basically the end of presentation. If you still haven't, or rather, if you still have not following us, then you should follow us on Instagram. Okay, that's the Instagram link. And on social media, on Facebook, on YouTube. Of course, if you haven't subscribed, then you definitely should also subscribe to this channel right here, right now. Click on that subscribe button and let's see those numbers going up. And if you're still here, then also please do smash your Hulk smash on the like button so we can have this video reach out to more people. So this was the backlogs that we spoke about. We spoke about the new PR programs, pathways, Saskatchewans, and what else have we got? Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I do have a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about. Okay. And I basically want to talk to you about, so if you are currently in Canada and you are a person who is on a postgraduate work permit, or you have applied for a postgraduate work permit and now you probably will be going out of status, you probably have gone out of status, and you now have the option to restore your status to a visitor. Now, a lot of you confuse yourself that you already have a valid visit visa. So at the time your postgraduate work permit, if you have applied for extension or if you go out of status, then because you have a temporary residence visa, because you have a visit visa, you will automatically be on a visitor status. It is not true. Please understand, having a visit visa does not mean you automatically go and you are automatically transferred to a visitor status. That is not true. If you have been in Canada as a student, you were on a student status. Then you change that status by applying for a work permit. Now you are on a worker status. Once your status basically expires, you are now out of status. You do not automatically go on a visit status. Okay. Neither do you go on a visitor status simply by applying for a visitor visa. That also does not get you on a visitor status. You need to restore your status and then apply for change of status from worker or student to a visitor. You basically will be applying for a visitor record. Okay, please understand this. There is a big difference between applying for a visitor visa and changing your status to a visitor. A lot of people confuse themselves and land themselves into much deeper problem than they would have been otherwise. So that's for people who are in Canada and still trying to figure out how would they change the status. So there's a specific application to be made about change of status. Please use that. That's the first one. Second one that I wanted to talk to you about are people who are always asking why can't they get a job in Canada. And I know a lot of you are out there who are thinking, talking, and always trying to figure out a way to find a job. Well, it's not rocket science. Finding a job is pretty simple. I mean, the process is simple. The actual result is the one which is very difficult. So process of finding a job is like you would do the same what you would do in any country, in any location, in any place. You would go to your job boards. Monster, in Canada, you will have Monster, Workopolis, All Star Jobs, All AIM Jobs. You also have, of course, Indeed, and then the Job Bank of Canada. These are the main portals where most of these jobs are advertised. And in some cases, for example, now the Job Bank, any employer who's applying for an LMIA, okay, any employer, by requirement, they have to advertise on Job Bank. So every time you look at the Job Bank and you see all these jobs available, it does not necessarily mean that if you apply for it, you will get it, because probably the employer is already looking to find, or rather has somebody in mind for whom they're applying for an LMIA. And the idea is just to find somebody in Canada, or rather to prove to the officers in Canada that they were not able to find anybody in Canada. So it doesn't really help people outside Canada. But where it does help is that by the fact that you can see the employers posting these vacancies on the job bank, you are at least in a position to figure out which employers indeed do have vacancies for foreign workers. That's a very important factor, because in most cases you can't even figure out who are these employers who are looking to hire foreign workers. Once you've identified who are these employers who are looking to hire foreign workers, then through your network of influence, through LinkedIn, try and reach out to the HR managers, see if there is genuinely a vacancy where you can approach, or a person who you can approach and apply. You do have a lead now. Now it's all it needs is a bit of an effort, a bit of hard work from your side to then crack the code and get that job. As I said, the process is available to everybody. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's straightforward. It's the end result to get to which is a bit of a difficult one and a challenging one, but hard work, a lot of effort can get you there. That's the first thing. Another thing that people ask is, why can't I get a job? Why is it so difficult to get a job? Well, you need to understand a couple of things, and let me make that clear for you today. Firstly, Canada is a large country, very large, right? So you are a second largest country in the world after Russia, of course. And they do have a very small population in contrast with the large country. It's a population of about 38 million people, which almost is about Delhi NCR population at this point of time, maybe less than Delhi NCR region at this point of time. So it's not a big population. So therefore, the jobs are always going to be scarce. Okay. Also, why would an employer hire you? Why would that employer give you a job? Have you ever thought about it? Okay. So there are only 3 reasons why an employer will make you a job offer. And I will come to those 3 reasons. But you have to understand that hiring a foreign worker takes effort. It costs money. And it's an intensive process, which basically needs the employer will really have to do a lot of documentation, a lot of paperwork, a lot of processes in order to get you as a foreign worker who may not be able to come to Canada probably for 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years if you're going through the whole PR application. It's a lot of time to wait. I mean, which employer is going to wait for 2 years to have that employee come and start working? Yeah, so you need to have the logic of the whole thing. But the 3 reasons why an employer will hire somebody. The first one, you have an exceptional skill set to offer to the employer. You have some amazing qualities. You have certain skills, certain talents, certain experiences, certain certifications, certain knowledge that the employer in Canada can't find elsewhere. So they have no other option but to make you a job offer, but to hire you because they need you very badly, right? So that is the best and the most opportune moment that can happen, and the most ideal position to be in. Second one is the option where the employer is in your network of influence. So your relative, your friend, your friend's friend, your relative's relatives, your relative's friends, your friend's relative, or whatever combination you may want to apply. And they are now willing to do this favor for you and, process this LMIA for you or make you a job offer because, whatever, that's what friends are for. That's what relatives are for. That's what they do. The third one, which is illegal, but that's the underbelly of Canadian immigration today, and it is rampant. It's happening all over the place. And this is the third option where the employer is willing to do this for you. Sometimes it's the employer, sometimes it's the middleman, sometimes it's the agent, sometimes it's the consultant, sometimes it's the lawyer, is that they are driven by greed. Okay, and that's where the selling of job offers comes through. That is where selling the LMIS comes through. So this is where you need to be the most careful. Beware of fraud, beware of scamsters, beware of all the misrepresentation that happens. And that is, again, as I said, prevalent. The government is aware. They're trying to clamp down as much as they can. And if you are at any point of time caught in this situation, it can have some very severe consequences. Also keep in mind, when you get into such a situation where you're trying to buy a job offer, most of this is off the books. Most of this is off the paper. Nobody's going to sign a contract with you, which basically means if this guy is unscrupulous and is going to run away with your money, you can't do nothing about it. You can't go and complain to anybody because, hey, you are the one who got into an illegal transaction in the first place. So that's the story about the job offers that I know a lot of you are quite anxious about most of the times because that seems to be the best way to get in. But don't fall into the third category. I know of my trip so far, I have met so many different people across I mean, when I was in India, right now I'm in Dubai. So right when I was in India, I met Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, 4 cities. I've met so many of people, and yeah, quite often in all the 4 cities, I also met people who were either looking to buy job offers from me, which I don't sell, just for your information, but who I also heard stories, horror stories of the amount of money they have lost by in these transactions, which I mean, it's a lot of money. There are people who have lost up to 50-60 lakh rupees after these transactions. So, guys, if you really have that kind of money, trust me, I'm sure you can do so much more better than by running after these guys. If you're looking to buy a job offer, instead of greasing somebody else's pockets, invest on yourself. Give yourself a shot. Maybe you want to come to Canada and study, right? I mean, at least you're investing that money on yourself. You're putting that money on yourself, as in you're improving your skills, you're getting yourself additional education, more certification. Probably you'll find a better job, get a second language, French as a second language. And that way, that money is better spent on yourself rather than into some greedy individuals' pockets. So think about that. And with that, I am done with my presentation, with my discussions that I wanted to have. Let's get with your questions now, because that's what you've been waiting for. And before I get to that, obviously, I want to see you smash the like button so we get to see this video getting to more people who might also find this of value. And at the same time, also, please do subscribe to the channel. Are you in Dubai? Yes, sir, I am in Dubai. And while I am on that subject, and this is pretty much the last one, okay, if you're in Dubai, watch out for my post, because I intend to do a seminar. When I'm saying a seminar, it's basically a overview level of when we can have 100, 200 people in a room talk about at heart. I mean, talk out from your heart, or talk about your immigration processes, things you should do, things you definitely should not, and how you can steer away from all those unscrupulous things that are happening in the market of Dubai. Obviously, I'm here because I am setting up my office in Dubai itself. And this time I'm here to sort of finish up all the paperwork so I can get that done. We're also hiring employees or new staff who will be working with us in the Dubai operation. So another reason for being here. I obviously will be meeting a lot of people on a one-on-one consultation. So if you're looking to do that, you can also book that. So plenty of things happening for us in Dubai. So do keep an eye out for those posts as and when they happen if you're in Dubai, because the seminar will be something which I really am getting very excited about. We just haven't been able to identify the date or the location or the venue, but it should come out within this week itself. I'm here until the 30th of this month. So obviously this would be in a few days preceding before I leave. But yeah, definitely towards the third week of this month, probably towards the last week, maybe, we will be having this seminar where we'll be happily meeting as many people as possible. So that is something which we have lined up. Well, if you're still not following us on Instagram, then that is the link. And if you want to make a one-on-one appointment, I'm in Dubai. We will be opening up slots for in-person appointment consultations as well. But in the meantime, if you want to talk to me virtually, Zoom, then this is the link for appointments, one-on-one. We can talk about what's happening with your applications. Please do subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. It was good coming back and talking to you about this. Thank you so much. If there are any questions that I haven't answered, please do post them in the comments after this video, and I will come back and I will answer most of the questions as and when I can, but I will definitely do that. Thank you for joining in. It was great catching up again. I shall see you very soon again next time. Stay safe. Take care.